This is the fourth little movie on Excel. In this one, we're going to talk or continue to talk about relative addresses and absolute addresses. So for right now, I'm going to do some formulas. We're going to talk about how you do those in the next session. But right now, I just want to show you how important relative addresses are. As I said before, in Excel, you have to tell it everything. So if you wanted to add up this column of numbers, for example, you can't have your cursor over here if you want the answer over here. So you have to, first thing you have to do is put your cell where you want the answer. Now, in this case, I'm going to do this the long way because I want to show you. But when we tell it to add these numbers, what Excel does is says, when you say to add these column up, it says, I'm in at cell A7. I want to move up to cell A1, take that value. Then I want to move up to cell A2, take that value, and add it to the value in A1. Move up to A3, add it to the value of A1 and 2, etc., etc. But in fact, it doesn't go by A1 and A2. It says I'm going to move up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows in the same column. So it's always relative to where I am for my answer. I want you to do these operations. So I'm just going to show you how this does it. You start a formula by putting an equal sign. We'll talk about that more later. So we want to add this cell, and I highlighted that cell. I clicked on that cell, plus, and I hit the plus sign on my keyboard. This cell, I highlighted that cell, plus this cell, plus this cell, plus this cell, plus this cell. Now if you look, you see all those numbers down here, but you also see them up here in the space on the spreadsheet where the answer, so to speak, is given. Now when I hit enter at here, I get the answer. Okay, so here I have A8, I'm sorry, A7 is the cell address, 341 is the answer to the formula, but up here you'll see that there's the formula. So you can see what it did. Now, let's just say for sake of argument, we take these numbers and we copy them. So remember we can move to copy things, so we can just do copy, and here's a quick copy, and we'll put them over here, and then we'll paste. Okay, so we have the same numbers. So now I'm going to take this number here, this answer here, and now I'm going to copy it to right here. Now I want you to watch what happens when I paste it. You'll see that you'll get the same answer, but look up here. The formula is now C1 plus C2. It didn't just copy this answer. It copied the formula. And the way it copied it was by saying, oh, we want to move up 6, take that number, move up 5, take that number, move up 4, take that number, etc. So in Excel, when you're doing operations, you want to always be aware of the fact that there's relative addresses. It's always going to the where does this answer relationship to my answer. Now I'm going to delete this answer right now, and I'm going to show you how this works. So let's say that we want to show, or in fact right here, we want to show I'm sorry, let's do it right here. In this cell, we want to show what percentage of this total 25 is. So we'd put in a formula, we'd say equals this number divided by the total. Okay? That's how you get a percentage. Worry about formatting that later. But now what happens if I copy it now? I take this number, copy, and I drag down where I want it to go. Oh my goodness, what happened here? Well, what happened is that it followed our instructions. It said take this number in A1 and divide it by A7. When we copied it, it said, okay, take the number in A2 and divide it by A8. But there is nothing in A8. So you have to put in an absolute address. And the way you do that in Excel is by putting a dollar sign in front of the column name and the row name. Now we'll do it. You see we get the same answer here, but now when I copy this and drag it down here, I'm going to get all these numbers. And then further, if I take this number and copy it over to here, which is adding it, remember, I'm going to get the number 1, or 100%. So, again, absolute addresses and relative addresses is the way Excel works. And we'll talk about formulas in the next session.